Last year we hit a new point in Social Security where the cost of paying benefits for the first time since the early 1980s exceeded the amount of tax income that the program was generating. Now, we long expected we were going to get to that point. We knew we were going to get to that point for years. There have been trustees' reports for the last couple of decades telling us we were going to hit that point. Now, we thought we were going to get it. I should say we. I wasn't a trustee back then. But previous trustees thought we were going to hit that point in the mid-20 teens. And we hit it a little bit earlier. And the reason we hit it earlier, of course, was the recession. The recession depressed income and payroll tax revenues. There was some increase in benefit claims as a consequence of the recession. So instead of hitting that point in the mid-20 teens, we hit it in 2010. And now, under our current projections, we are permanently in a new era. Where, unless we change something, the cost of paying benefits is going to exceed the tax revenue coming in. Now, let me give you some basic numbers. This year, it costs about $738 billion to pay Social Security benefits. The amount of tax income the program generated is about $587 billion. Now, most of that's from payroll taxes. A little bit of it comes from the taxation of Social Security benefits. So if you just ask, what is the program's impact on the overall federal budget this year, it's adding about $151 billion to the unified federal deficit. That's the gap between what the program is bringing in and what the program is spending. Now, why is that gap so large? Well, it's large in part because, remember, what happened this year is that there was a payroll tax cut for a stimulus program. Congress and the administration cut the payroll tax by 2 points last year. There are proposals on the table to cut the payroll tax even more over the next year. If that hadn't been done, then the gap between the program's tax income and its expenditures would have been about $46 billion. Now, what Congress did at the same time with the agreement of the administration is they said, well, we're going to cut the payroll tax and we're going to make up that revenue from general revenues. We're basically going to subsidize Social Security from the general revenue of the budget. And so they issued a transfer of about $105 billion from the general fund to the Social Security Trust Fund. It was a pure issuance of funds, no taxes coming in behind it. It was just a pure issuance of debt to the trust fund to cover the effects of this payroll tax cut. All right, so when they did that, that made the Social Security deficit about $46 billion. Now, how are we making up the remainder of the $46 billion annual shortfall of income relative to expenditures? Well, that's where the Social Security Trust Fund comes in. Social Security has a trust fund, and it has bonds, treasury bonds in it, and whenever its taxes fall short of benefit payments, it draws on the assets in the trust fund to keep benefits flowing. Now, those bonds earn interest, and this year they earn about $115 billion of interest. And so $46 billion of that is going right out the door to pay benefits to beneficiaries, and the other $69 billion is adding to the balance of the trust fund for the future. So right now we're in a very strange place. On the one hand, Social Security is probably adding about it is adding $151 billion to our broader budget deficit situation, but at the same time its own trust fund is continuing to rise in value. So that's where we are right now.